Worst Mounjaro week 1 foods. My 5 game changer tips for Mounjaro 2.5 milligrams. Hi, beautiful friends. I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. I have lost over 106 pounds the last 6 months. 6 months, that's not true. 106 pounds over the last 2 years and 2 months, so 26 months of being on Mounjaro, Zepbound, and TIRZEPATIDE compound. The combination of those is because of the shortages. And on today's episode, I want to deep dive into worst foods for me. I'm getting ready to go work out, so I have no makeup on, but I was like, I'm not missing a day. I have literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of GLP-1 videos down on our playlist. Check those out if you are just starting Mounjaro or Zepbound too, because the 2 different FDA approvals, but same dosage, same manufacturer, Eli Lilly. Let's dive in. Number 1, now let me give a disclaimer, an overarching disclaimer. These are mine. Yours is going to be different for you. People are so different on these medications. What may happen for one may not happen for another. You hear all these henny penny, oh my gosh, these horrible side effects. And yes, there are some gnarly side effects. Talk to your healthcare provider, because of course, none of this of what I'm sharing is medical advice. It will hopefully help punch you to talk to your medical and healthcare provider. But for some of them, there's less than 1%. And when I was on the Oprah show, that was who's my source. I always have to cite my sources. The doctor on it from the Cleveland Clinic had said that it was less than 1% of Mounjaro and GLP-1s are really serious. So hopefully that helps with like the scary berries with it. Number 1, pizza. For me, and now again, do I have pizza now? Of course I do. I have learned to have a really, really healthy perspective with food. I'm still working on it, but being over 300 pounds when I first started my Mounjaro journey, my relationship with food has dramatically changed. My workouts, I lift now. I do all of these cool things now that I was not able to do as a result of Mounjaro and Zepbound and TIRZEPATIDE. And so I want to encourage you that I'm saying these, but also you got to test it for yourself too. If you love pizza, like I love pizza, but what happened when I had pizza, my first week on Mounjaro, my portion sizes were this big, and then they went to like this big. I was the 3 helpings gal. I would go back, if not for seconds, thirds. There was no such thing as seconds. It was really thirds or maybe fourths. And they were big, big plates. And so for me, having that big, I can have pizza now, and I do, but not like a pizza pie and like a New York style pizza pie. You know what I'm talking about? Like my hot husband's from New Jersey. So like he loves a big old pizza. Yeah, like so having these big slices, my stomach with the grease from it, if you get pepperoni and cheese, that was not conducive. If you catch my drift, for the Mounjaro side effects, because there's 4 most common ones: diarrhea, constipation, nausea, vomiting. I had not vomited until I got to my highest dose, and a lot of people don't. And a lot of people don't have those side effects. But for me, diarrhea and constipation were the most prevalent and the most common. And so for me, having that much grease with the pizza, because we do eat New York style ones with the cheese, had to go to a bathroom soon. Not to be crass or gross, but I'd rather take the bullet for you than you be out with your family and be in a beautiful outfit and have your hair and makeup done and look stunning and gorgeous, and then be like, OMG, I got to run to the restroom. And by the way, I'm joking about the way in which I'm delivering this is hopefully entertaining for you. But of course, having diarrhea is no laughing matter, but also in the same breath, I think, in my opinion, that gastrointestinal issues they can be enhanced because of food choices we eat. And so, like I said, I have a free checklist on countessofshopping.com. All of my resources, by the way, will be linked in the description link below. And on that free tracker, it has on there a side effects tracker. It's this one. You can put things like had pizza and then had blowout diarrhea like an hour later. Like literally my stomach, I can be like, like it's not Mounjaro. It's the I mean, it is kind of, but it's because of the food pairings in which I'm having with them. I just can't eat the way that I used to be able to eat, which is a good thing for me because I came from a very, very unhealthy perspective of food, and I will happily have diarrhea and constipation and nausea and only twice vomiting to be able to do things like ride a horse. I'm literally leaving to go. I'm to go to horseback riding camp right now. Like I'm literally leaving as an adult. I get to go to horseback riding camp 3 times this summer. I am so excited. I could not fit on a horse before because I weighed over 300 pounds and would literally crush the horse. And now because I've lost over so much weight, I can get on a horse. And so I want to encourage you that having less pizza. Maybe just have one, depending on my shot day too. And I think that this is an important part of it. It's not tip number 2, but I'm going to make it tip number 2, is when is your shot day? For me, peak side effects and peak appetite suppression is 24 to 48 hours after I do my injection. So if I take my injection on Monday, I really feel it Tuesday, Wednesday. And then by day 5 is half-life's dose. So on Friday, I'm going to have more appetite. And Saturday and Sunday, it's just going to keep going down like that for me. But the data tells us it's half-life's dose on Friday. And so the 5, not Fridays in general, but the 5th day. So days 5 to 6, day 7. And then so come Monday again when I do my injection, ready to go. In terms of your shot day for planning, I have a whole video on my playlist on that. But basically, your shot day, you think about and picking what day makes the best sense to start your shot days on, excuse me. If you don't want to have appetite suppression on the weekend, or if you do. I've moved around with this. I talked to my healthcare provider and got their blessing to slightly, it took a few weeks to move my shot times by tweaking the hours. And then that way it wasn't on a Friday, or it was on a Friday, depending. Number 2, worst for Mounjaro week 1, the worst foods for me, and then was sugar. Because of my A1C and blood panels, having sugar did not feel good. And as I've gone along, I had the best blood panel a while back. My healthcare provider, I used Join Fridays, used the discount code Queen, had made me do a blood panel, and which I appreciate. And my blood panel was really, really good. But within that, my A1C levels have changed. My blood sugars have changed. And so being mindful of that, blood sugars can dip, right? And so just being thoughtful of that when consuming sugar, because for me, it very much has altered. It was not the same way. And of course, when you look at it, you're like, well, that makes sense because of you've lost over 106 pounds. Of course it's going to change. Yeah. And so therefore my blood sugars change. So I can't consume sugar the way I used to, because it really does with my blood panels. There has been a major shift in that. So I want to encourage you, and like for Mounjaro is for type 2 diabetics, as is Ozempic, FDA approved for type 2 diabetics, just being super, super mindful of your blood sugars. But like, that's a game, you know what I mean? Like that makes sense. Do I still have like a piece or two? I do, but it wasn't like it's different in the way in which I consume foods. Number 3, I did not start on Mounjaro week 1, but I subsequently have, because I've told you I've been on this for 26 months, 2 years and 2 months. I was one of the ones that people were like, "Oh, you're gonna have 5 heads from taking this medication. Oh, we don't know what's gonna happen now with Mounjaro." And I'm so grateful. I was like, the pain of remaining the same, I will not, is greater than the pain of change. And so I'm going to change. And so I'm so grateful I did. I look at the woman in the right here in my before picture, and I'm like, I was in agony. I was in pain. I'd rather take the side effects, potential ones, than stay the same. But literally people thought I was going to have 5 heads. And I was like, okay. So increasing protein for me on that week 1, I was not able to do some of these lifestyle changes that I now have had. It just took time. And so if you are a slower turtle like I am, turtles unite, fellow turtles, it is okay. I was doing the best I could with the resources I had, Mounjaro week 1, and then in my first month. And so I want to encourage you, if you're not able to look at protein, because we lose muscle mass with any sort of weight loss people do in general. And I've had a DEXA scan, so I can go back and I've been monitoring all this and so forth. But on my first week, I could not handle changing lifestyle changes with my food. All that I could do was focus in on the portion changes of being like, okay, my main thing I'm going to focus in on is putting my fork down when I'm full, because that was such a novel concept for me. That took me months and months and months of practice, meal after meal after meal, to be like, oh, that's what full feels like. Fork down, pause. That seems so elementary and basic, but for me, friends, it was not. Like literally, I needed to learn that skill set. And so now that I had that skill set, then other skills build on top of each other of a healthy perspective with food. Then I can move on to changing my protein, which now I have 100 to 150 grams of protein per day. I eat in a calorie deficit because I still have about 20 more pounds to get to my goal weight per my BMI. We know that BMI is not the most accurate reading. And also out of that, there's probably 5 to 10 pounds of loose skin that eventually I will have a surgeon remove. But increasing my protein when we increase protein, or let me use my eye statements. When I increase protein, it led to constipation. And we know the 4 common gastrointestinal side effects of Mounjaro are diarrhea, constipation, nausea, and vomiting. We know those. And so with that, increasing my protein made me have more constipation. Just being aware of that, which therefore meant I needed to increase my fiber because I was not eating enough fiber because my portions were smaller. I'm like, I'm going to focus in on protein, but I'm not really going to focus in on fiber. What comes from fiber? Healthy fruits and vegetables. And so I now love fruits and vegetables. In our household, we have a whole glass refrigerator for fruits and vegetables. So it is like the prime focus of fresh. And so it makes it very enjoyable to have a fresh fruit and vegetable because we've made it an enjoyable experience. So in your home, it may not be realistic to get a glass refrigerator. I fully understand and have the perspective. I get it. Like, I get it. But what can you do within your home with your circumstances to make fruits and vegetables more fun? Because of the fiber that, for me, helps combat that high protein to help not have constipation. One of the best things I did also, and this video is not sponsored by Bioptimizers, but I love it, was such a game changer. I ended up buying Bioptimizers, their magnesium breakthrough. It has 7 types of magnesium because I was taking 1 type of magnesium. An influencer who I really, really respect and love had shared that she was doing this, and she's like, I love it. It's 7 types. And a viewer said, Elizabeth, why are you taking 1 type of magnesium in the pill that you're taking from Amazon when you can take 7 types of magnesium in Bioptimizers? And I'm like, why am I doing that? Don't have constipation, because with this, and you can use the discount code QUEEN, QUEEN, it's linked in the description link below. I don't have a constipation problem from high fiber now. Bioptimizers has helped with constipation, sleeping, because I had really bad, my sleep got whacked out. So constipation, sleeping, muscle recovery, because I do lift now. And so with that, having that muscle recovery and leg cramps, I don't have those anymore. And then also the 4th one is anxiety, but very, very minor on that, of where I think it's helped. It has helped my anxiety, but it's not been as substantially noticed like the constipation, like the sleep, muscle recovery, leg cramps, things like that. So anyways, increased protein, need an increase for fiber of fruits and vegetables, and then having, and more, by the way, more than 70% of people are magnesium deficient. So FYI on that, like most people are magnesium deficient with that. Obviously, before taking any supplements, talk to your own healthcare provider. Number 4, fatty foods, meaning steaks. I've shared the story and I'll share it again because I think it's a good illustration. My hot husband and I went out for a date. Yeah, I looked pretty. I had on a beautiful top, cute pants, cute shoes. I had a cute pocketbook to match my outfit and my earrings. I looked good. I smelled good. I put on my baccarat. I was very excited for my baccarat rouge. I smelled good. I looked good. It was game on for a hot date night with my hot husband. I ordered a ribeye steak. And you know what happened after? And it was smothered in butter. And I wasn't going to eat the whole thing. I was like, I just want a very, very small piece of this. I did eat it. And then I looked at my husband. My eyes got wide as saucers. And I'm like, I've got to go. Because I knew my gastrointestinal diarrhea was going to start. It was too much fat for my body. And that may not be the case for everybody. I still love steak. I just don't, I choose to eat different. I don't eat ribeyes anymore because it's too fatty. And so the moral of that story and the lesson of that story, Henny Penny, not Henny Penny, who's the other Aesop's Fables? The moral of that story is checking, maybe for me, I shifted over to leaner proteins. Now I choose to have chicken, ground turkey, ground chicken more so, leaner cuts of beef. And so if I'm having meat like that, it's leaner. But the overarching theme in that in general is like really fatty things, like fried foods. I gotta be careful for me on that. Now, of course, things have changed. And before when I titrate up on a dose, it definitely kicks back in. My side effects, just because you have one, I'll say it for my statement, just because I had one side effect on one dose did not mean I was not going to have them on other doses. I never had vomiting and nausea until I hit Zepbound 15 milligrams, which Zepbound and Mounjaro are the same thing, different FDA approvals. So don't let that confuse you, because I'm speaking, they're both from the manufacturer, Eli Lilly. They're both the same dosage, just different FDA approvals on there. And so it's going to give the same stuff, same side effects, things like that. So changing with fatty foods on there You may not have that, but when I titrate up a dose, that is when I have more enhanced side effects for me. How do I know that? My free side effects tracker tells me. That's why I made the side effects tracker, which it should be down in the description link below. Do I have? Yes, I was just showing you guys that. It should be in the description link below, as is my checklist before you take your shot. And it's on countessofshopping.com as well, my blog for all things GLP-1. So, number 5, switching over with the worst Mounjaro week 1 food choices, not picking from a loving perspective. I came from diet culture. And so my brain very much deprogramming all of that into a healthy lifestyle of like, okay, what's healthy for me? What makes the best sense for me and for my body? And we know that obesity is on a spectrum and there's wide variations. So what works well for me may not work well for you. So I always have to give that caveat with it too, that that it may be different, but also, in addition to that, coming from a loving, kind perspective for my body. What's the most loving, kind perspective for my body? Sometimes it is to walk when I don't feel like walking. And I do walk 2 to 6 miles. I was about to say, where's my watch to check my steps for the day? I was charging it. I walk 2 to 6 miles per now, 2 to 6 miles per day now. That is a loving perspective for me. I lift weights because that is a loving perspective for me. Learning how to say, oh, I'm full. That's the signals. My body is sending me signals continuously throughout the day. If I choose to listen to them, that is a loving perspective. Me meeting with a therapist to help untangle some of this bad mindset, harsh mindset, toxic mindset, unhealthy mindset associated with food is the most loving choice for me. Me doing these things, that is the most loving choice for me. Me going to bed at a normal hour so I have proper sleep. So my body, because weight loss is a stress on the body, so my body has recovery time. That is the most loving choice for me. Like these loving choice to not to talk to so-and-so because they're not healthy and they're not kind people and that messes with my mindset. That is a loving choice. I can bless and release with love. And so making some of these healthy shifts, that mapped into my food. And for me, because I was over 100, I mean, more than 100 pounds overweight, did not happen without having, for me, an unhealthy perspective of food. That I, to make permanent lifestyle changes, have had to change, have had to. I'm still 26 months in. I've healed a lot of that. But I still have a ways to go too. I also fully recognize that I'm still within this journey, within this process. I have not reached the end destination. And so what's the most loving, healthy choices for food? Sometimes it is to be like, okay, it's nighttime, I'm still hungry, and I'm going to eat a piece of fruit, and then the kitchen's closed. Toodaloo, I'm gonna go upstairs after that. Maybe the next healthy perspective for me also has been, because I've learned about what my body can eat, is I have eaten all my nutrients for the day, and I'm still, like I said, going back to that hungry part, is to be like, okay, let me have some water because I've had the proper nutrients for the day. I'm good. And go upstairs because I track my foods now. Tracking my foods used to trigger me, which if it triggers you, I have a whole bunch of videos on that too. Like make sure you click like and subscribe and binge watch my channel. You can see those videos down below too. Going into like that takes a whole episode to kind of detangle all of it. But the most loving perspective with those, and it's through truly testing for your body as well. And so that's why I encourage the free side effect tracker that I have on Countess of Shopping, because it can change it. Now, I know some of you guys asked about the proteins. I have 2 favorite ones that I personally love. If you're a chocolate lover, Bioptimizer's Protein Breakthrough, use the discount code QUEEN, it's chocolate. I'm not a huge chocolate person, but this is my favorite and I recommend it. I use it for like my protein pudding and things like that. And also the other one that I really, really love too, because it's more fruity, is Queen Simple Eats, their protein packets. And they have a variety pack. You can use the discount code QUEEN also, QUEEN. They have all these variety packets that come with it. And so you can test out to see if you like them before buying like one of the big containers of them. I honestly just buy the smaller ones because I do like them quite a bit. You don't have to buy anything. And I wanted to do real foods and no supplements. But for me, I found I could not get to the protein, 100 to 150 grams of protein per day. And I don't do that every day. So on days that I don't eat, I am not force feeding myself. Be clear on that. That is what I strive for on normal days, like 5, 6, 7 for sure. But on days 2 and 3, I may not be hitting that. And I may be having less of a calorie range in which I'm eating. I'm not going to force feed myself. I know other people will disagree with me on that, but I'm like, honey, I pay way too much self-pay for this medication to not be getting results. And so I'm not going to force feed myself into eating. So just a little couple tips on that. For me, not eating, I have become really a beverage girly. I love my beverages. I probably have 3 tumblers with me at all times just because if I'm not eating, I want something, it's fun for me. That may not be fun for you, but for me, it's fun. And so I do like a what tumbler will I pick today? I have whole episodes on what I eat in a day on Mounjaro about that. But some of my beverages, because I know you guys are going to ask, Peak Tea, I really do. I have a discount code with them as well. It's a discount link, not a code, but a link. Their teas are exceptional, and they can be hot or cold teas, which is nice for travel because I do travel for work. And then also LMNT electrolytes. I've done a ton of videos on these. They have packets or they have cans. The cans don't have maltodextrin in them. I'm obsessed with them, but because they do have magnesium, potassium, and sodium, they are salty because they are electrolytes, but you can customize the salt level for you. But that I just sip on. Typically, if I have my packet of LMNT, I will have a third of the packet, a third throughout the day. So the first third with a 40-ounce tumbler of water, that's how I get my water in. And water for me, I have found has been a great substitute or replacement. I don't want to eliminate things. For me, just finding substitutes that has been so helpful for me, because me cutting things out cold turkey, it doesn't work for me. And it's also not sustainable. So having these cute little substitutes that come in, and I say that they're cute, but they actually really, really help dramatically. Game changer. And then the final thing I'm obsessed with is my daily vitamin. It's Gem Bites. Use the discount code QUEEN. Is it QUEEN? Yeah, it's QUEEN. And it's linked down below for discount. But because you can't, for me, and I'll use my I statements, my eating this big to this big, dramatically shrinking my portion size, I wasn't getting the proper nutrients. And I just had a blood panel a little ways ago, and it was great. And I attribute that in part to Gem Bites because of my daily, I'm literally eating, it's real food, by the way. It's a bite. It's a bite with like pumpkin seeds in there. It's so good. It's citrus ginger tasting. So just in terms of like flavor composition, if you're like, oh my God, it tastes delicious to me, but it is citrus ginger, and that ginger is calming. It does include prebiotics and probiotics, going back to that diarrhea and constipation. Oh, by the way, I use LMNT 100% for diarrhea and constipation too. The diarrhea part, if things are getting expelled out, I want to replace those electrolytes. And for constipation, it has sodium, potassium, and magnesium, which has very much helped me with my constipation. So that, and of course, in conjunction with bioptimizers too. So I hope this video has been helpful of getting you to think about like, oh, I do eat a lot of that, or oh, I want to eat more of these things, and testing and trying and seeing what works really, really well for you. Like this winter, we were in our soup era. And it was so fun. And it was fun to try these different soups, broth-based soups, and then more creamy-based soups. The creamy-based soups for me did not fare as well. And so I had to limit those just because, again, going back to that higher, fattier content for me led me to go particularly near shot day. If it was near day 5, 6, 7, I had less side effects on those days. But you got to test for yourself, and you got to learn for yourself too. And I'm so grateful, by the way. I've done over 100 shots, Mounjaro injections, Zepbound and TIRZEPATIDE injections, over 100 of them. And so it's been fascinating to see the data on all of that. My beautiful friends, our question of the day today, what are you doing today to move you closer to your goals? Tell me in the comments below. And number 2 is I do an emoji of the day. It helps me to get to know you better because I truly do care. I do a daily show because I love our Countess of Shopping community and knowing you. And so the pattern recognition of seeing your name pop up over and over and over again, it will help me to get to know you better. I love seeing our counts and countesses of the day. For YouTube does this thing where it tells me the community spotlight. And so the community spotlight of this week, let me pull it up. Oh, where is it? My community spotlight is Amy, Lisa, Mary Beth, Marjorie, and Elizabeth. So thanks for being a part of that. And there's thousands of y'all, so that rotates and changes. And that YouTube picks that. I don't pick that. Our emoji of the day today is going to be, I had forgotten what I had picked one, and now I totally forgot what it was going to be. Is going to be, let's do a lightning bolt, because it's electric. Let's do a lightning bolt. Our emoji of the day is a lightning bolt. And I will also pray over you. If you don't believe in prayer, I'll uplift you in positive thought, because all are welcome at the Countess of Shopping table. My sweet friends, I'm cheering you on. Go check out the other Mounjaro week 1 videos in this playlist too. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Count my blessings, because life is delicious. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow on tomorrow's daily show. Make sure you share this video with your bestie too. Bye guys.